Welcome to Critical Condition Sports. Once again, folks, my name is Jose, Joe, whatever you want to call me, Mr. Matos here. And joining me is my partner in crime here, Jonah Rawls from Behind the Grind via Zoom. How you doing, Jonah?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Mystic Matos, by the way. That's the nickname. That's the
There we
nickname
go,
I'm gonna
Mystic
go with.
Matos. Matos is a little biased. We'll get on that. We'll get on that this week. But anyways, folks, we are back with the Ultimate Fighter, the Return of the Ultimate Fighter, season 29, episode 6 review. Again, another week, another episode, another review with yours truly here, folks. Real quick before we get into it, I just want to remind you that we are going to be talking about spoilers. So if you haven't seen episode 6 of season 29, do not move forward. If you have though, or you just like spoilers in general, or just don't even want to watch the show, just like to listen to us talk, awesome, you're in the right spot. But before we head on, folks, I just want to remind you, if you enjoy this video, feel free to leave it a like. And if you are new to the channel, feel free to hit that subscribe button. We'll be giving you MMA content throughout the run of the Ultimate Fighter. Jonah, big episode here, man. Dan Argueta is a guy that I've hyped up a lot, brother. We got the episode. It was a huge lead up. Man, I feel like it was a huge lead up for me since last week going into
Definitely.
this week, brother. Lots of stuff to talk about. We'll get to the fight. We'll get to the result. But first, let's start off with the beginning, man. Shenanigans, right? Mr. TC Ortega trying to pull off the prank. Prank.
Yeah.
What did you think of that, man? As you're watching the show starting off there.
That was funny, dude. I mean, I was honestly surprised that Volk took it so light. I mean, I'm sure like it wasn't like a such a big like hassle. Like I'm sure he didn't have to manually put on his tires. I'm sure that those dudes just came back and put them on. But like
Yeah.
I just the casual inside of me wants some like beef, like someone to be angry at something, you know? I
Yeah.
mean, I feel like everyone kind of wants that, but
Of course.
that's my guilty like I was kind of disappointed that Volk didn't get mad and retaliate in some way. But I mean, it's just a prank, so whatever. It was funny though.
Yeah.
Creative.
The donkey.
Yeah, bro. That's so
Oh my god.
and Ortega was like, "He's got your smile." I was like, "Bro."
That made me laugh. Man,
Yeah, yeah.
so it's crazy here, right? And I'm telling everybody, and while we're reviewing this, we're on episode 6 now. So, like, I tell people, look, folks, at some point, like, we're fighting fans. That's why we're watching this, right? We're interested in the entire process, shenanigans, build up, fight, right? Well,
Yep.
that's what we're watching here, folks. So at some point, I mean, we have to also understand. I mean, this isn't a soap opera. There's obviously better seasons, and which is a reason why I wanted Jorge Masvidal and Colby Covington to be the coaches, because things would have been fire. But folks, we also have to understand Ortega, even though he's had some issues in the past, overall not a very dramatic individual. Hasn't really been known for dramatic splats. Sure, there was a Korean zombie incident, whatever. I mean, nothing too crazy here. Volkanovski, clean cut champion, quiet. We'll talk smack, right? But not doesn't.
Yeah,
I've really known him to talk smack. I mean, I just feel like a confident individual, of course, right?
definitely.
So no huge track records with chaos, like a Colby Covington here, and so people have to understand now. If you're watching this and you're just watching it solely for the drama, folks probably tell you folks besides before besides maybe a couple moments here or there that we'll have in the future, it's gonna be very short played. This prank, hey, let's do a
Yeah, yeah,
prank. It happened within 5 minutes of the program, and that's it.
yeah,
No beef
yeah.
after that.
It
You
was just
get
over.
so if you're
Yeah.
looking for that kind of drama and some intense stuff, some Conor McGregor, Uriah Faber, Cody Garbrandt, and TJ Dillashaw kind of stuff, probably not going to work out, folks. And
Maybe not
that's
the
just me being
season.
honest here. Obviously there is some splats that will probably happen later on, but I don't think at this point nothing too crazy. Obviously, we know that the camera tends to manipulate certain things. Like there was a preview with Ortega telling a fighter or Newman, I will mess both of you guys up, just not to cuss. It turns out that it ended up being in a game of
Like foosball.
foosball.
Yeah,
So obviously the camera does manipulate certain things, folks. I'm trying to tell you here though, if you're just watching this solely for drama, oh, it's gonna be pretty boring for you. For us, no, we're loving it. It's just an extra piece, right? We're not watching this just for a drama or a soap opera. We're watching this for a fight, obviously.
right.
And this week we had a phenomenal fight, great build up. Dan Argueta versus Ricky Turcios. Dan Argueta, obviously, I've hyped him up a lot. Jesus, I told you last week, man. I didn't want to jinx him. Hopefully I don't. But both of those guys are great fighters. Ricky's definitely the most experienced, one of the most experienced ones. He's got 12 fights from Houston, Texas. And Dan Argueta was 5-0, had 2 years as a pro, 4 first round finishes on there. So it was going to be a very interesting fight right here. Obviously, what was your take through the buildup? Is there anything that stood out for you, Jonah?
Not really. I mean, I was invested in your boy Dan because
Yeah.
you've been hyping him up and all that. So I was paying attention to his like home video and all that, and watching everything he's saying. But um, I was also just surprised. I didn't know Ricky like I mean, 10-2 doesn't really seem like a super like doesn't seem like he's a veteran or anything, but like that's a lot more experience than all these guys. I mean, that's the most fights, right? Out of any of the guys, or does
I
someone
don't
else
know.
have more?
No, I think so. Like Vince Murdoch is like 16-7.
Oh, okay, Vince Murdoch. Well, I
So
mean, still though,
he's got some. I mean, a couple. He's up there. He's up there, top three, top four, as
right?
far as overall experience from these 16
Yeah,
guys.
yeah. I mean, it was just, and I mean, it showed. But I mean, yeah, no, I was the buildup was good. I mean, I liked hearing the both. Again, I mean, I've said this before. It's kind of getting stale, I guess, but I like the home videos, man. It humanizes them more. You get to see like, I guess that's the appeal of Tough. Like you get to see outside of the octagon and those like 3 little minutes like after they win or after they lose, interviews or whatever. Like it's nice to see them like in a house, back home, like a little, even however short it is, you get to see what they're like, what
Normal.
their living situation, like all that stuff. Like it humanizes them more. So again, I know I'm kind of beating a dead horse, but I just love those home videos. They're dope.
Nothing wrong with that, brother. Look, like the thing again, the biggest thing for this, like for the show, right? Besides, we're watching it for fights, who moves on. It's a fast track process to the UFC. One of the fast track processes. Besides, the contender series, all that other stuff. But
Right.
obviously, like with here, the difference between the contender series and here is, I mean, if you win, you move on. Your dream stays alive. In the contender series, it's not a guarantee, even if you win. So this is truly like the fastest way to like fast track. Obviously, it's hell to live in, but obviously the shows just seems to be dragging just a little bit because of the fact that there is again a lack of drama, a lack of
Yeah.
animosity. Because I've seen other seasons. Again, I'll take Conor McGregor versus Uriah Faber for an example, man. That season was going, man. It was hitting,
Awesome.
it was hitting
Yeah.
so many different points. And obviously, like Conor McGregor just being such a charismatic
Yeah.
individual, drama, hype. I mean, the dude could sell you a glass of water that you can get at a restaurant for, $50. The guy's
Yeah.
just box office to this, you know what I mean? And it's not a knock on these guys. Again, we're not watching it solely for drama here, but it feels like very routine. Again, cameras like to manipulate certain things and make more
Yeah.
than what a situation is. But look, it's like it's become a process. A little prank, 5 minutes worth of drama.
Yeah.
Let's do the
Yeah.
prep, home video, weigh in, fight. I mean, that's just been the
Yeah.
formula. So I do think though, and like there's only so much that the show can control, of course, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, like in season 23 with the Corey Hendricks was telling me that everyone loved each other during the entire season, man. Like
Yeah.
everyone, like they had a camaraderie, and
Mhm.
obviously the producers hated that. They all got along, man. They all got along.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
obviously, it's not up to the producers. It's just based on personalities, and obviously, like Mitch. No, Mitch.
Yeah.
Mitch is always the one that's in the center of this thing. No,
Yeah.
Mitch. Get Mitch if you want more drama. Get Mitch Proposal on there, man. I mean,
Yeah.
seriously,
Yeah.
the as far as the training process though, you know, as the episode was going, I was realizing, man, Ricky looks like he's a very tough vet
Yeah.
experience. And as
Yeah.
the show was progressing, my one concern going into the fight was Dan's inexperience compared to Ricky's, man. Dan had 5 fights. Ricky's got, an extra 7 fights on him.
Yeah.
7 fights is a long time, Jonah. Like it
Absolutely.
is a very
Absolutely.
big leap in learning processes. Don't you think?
Absolutely. I was just gonna say, like, I'm not sure how many of Ricky's fights have gone the distance, but I mean, Dan, a lot of them were finishes, a lot of them in the first round. So like, how many of them were first round finishes?
4 out of the 5.
4 out of 5, dude. So yeah, exactly. I mean, it's hard to compete with that. That's what I was saying earlier. Like, he'll be back, like I'm sure, because uh, that much experience, like you can't just like get that.
Yeah.
Like you can't learn that. You have to earn that in the octagon. So, um, yeah, I 100% agree with you. You hit the nail on the head right there. Like experience is a huge factor, and one that I'm sure looking into it, we weren't really thinking about. So,
Yeah.
and yeah, 100%. I agree with you, man.
So yeah, so 7 fights. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, and the thing is that, Ricky's lost a couple times. He's
Yeah.
tasted defeat, and he's lost to some good guys. He lost to a guy named Manuel Martinez, who just got signed by the UFC, and he lost to him a couple fights ago. It was about 2019, 2018 that he had lost. Been a couple fights for him. Obviously, things were slowed down because of COVID, right? That would be why that loss was recent in his record, so long ago now. But he's fought against some tough individuals, and obviously the learning process. You learn a lot from a loss
Yeah,
from
absolutely.
than from staying undefeated like that. And obviously, hey, just because you lose doesn't mean anything bad. I mean, not everyone can stay perfect. Khabib Nurmagomedov only happens once in
Yeah.
what 20,
Like
30,
ever.
40
Yeah,
years, man.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
where you're 29-0, and I mean he's just one of those very rare occasions, man. Even George St. Pierre's lost to
Yeah,
somebody.
exactly. Exactly.
So obviously defeats teach you a lot more than being undefeated. And so when I look back at this fight, that was the only thing that was making me a little nervous. Okay, well, both of these guys are battle tested, but Ricky's gone through some more wars. He's got more fights on there, and he may not, the mentality, the heart is a whole different level. And everyone says they're strong mentally and they have heart until they step into the cage and they get hit and they're like, oh
Yeah.
crap.
Yeah.
So I was banking on that with Dan. I knew how determined he was. That's what his nickname was, the determined, going into the fight. And again, look, folks, I'm gonna be honest and go on camera here and tell you, I was probably a little bit biased here, to be honest with you. Hyped up this guy for so long, and I can tell you when I'm being biased here. And I was being particularly biased. My girlfriend even told me, "Hey, who you think's gonna win? Keep your personal opinions away." And it was just one of those cases where I couldn't, man. I mean, I was just, talk to the guy. He's a phenomenal fighter. Going into the fight, though, these guys start banging, throwing. Um, it was a hard fight to watch just because I feel like I couldn't properly score it. And I think that's,
Yeah.
a downfall for myself and a learning lesson for myself in general. Because I was just so concerned with him that I was like, oh my goodness, how's it going? How'd you see the first round going, brother?
It was good. Dude, I'm with you. It was hard for me to score it. Like I was trying to keep score. What I do sometimes is because I like to score fights with my friends. That I mean,
Yeah,
there's an app
same.
called Verdict that we use, but so I like to score them, and I like to think I'm pretty accurate on scoring. But
Same, man.
sometimes I just like I'll see one fight and I'll be like, oh, that's a 10-9 easy, and then I look and it's like everyone had it the other way. But like I don't know. Sometimes I like to sit back, and if they're just scrapping, I just don't score it because like I don't want to have to like deal with thinking about who won, and then I'd be disappointed with the decision and the outcome. So like after the first round, I was like, dang, that was close. I think Dan might have got it.
It
Um,
wasn't just me then.
yeah.
I thought it was like me. I thought it was just in my head, man.
Yeah.
Going
No,
into that,
it was just weird. I mean, it's also
they were
hard to
scrapping.
score. Yeah, they were absolutely scrapping. It seemed like in the first Dan was getting a little bit like the best of him in the striking. I mean, it seemed like he just landed a couple shots that were a little bit heavier and like seemed like they had more impact. But then in the second, I mean, it looked like Tertius was picking it up a little bit, and he was kind of throwing those kicks. Man, he's fast. His lead leg, he would finish off a combo with that lead leg a couple times, and I was like, one of those might land. But I mean, they never did. But I mean, yeah, they were tough. And then the third, I mean, the third was all Tertius, man. So
Yeah, I think so. I think as the fight progressed, I feel like Ricky was just a little bit better conditioned. And I'm not saying that he was just conditioned. So let me rephrase that. I just think he was less tired. And what
mhm.
I mean by that is just I feel like the conditioning was good for both of these guys, but I think there was a couple things that Dan did in this fight where I'm just like, oh, what are you doing? Like, don't do that. Like the guillotine.
Oh yeah,
He
held
didn't have
on
the
to it.
choke in,
Yeah,
but he was still trying to squeeze as much as he can. He was blowing his arm up, and you even heard Volk's corner say
yeah,
he's gonna blow his arm. He's
yeah,
gonna blow his
yeah,
arm. I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like, why is he doing that? Like, because when you have a guillotine, obviously either you sink it in, right? Obviously, which is the one result that you want,
right.
or you're gonna tire yourself out because you don't
Burn
have the
it.
choke and burn your arm off, or you're gonna burn your arm off and you're gonna give up position because the guy's
Yeah.
gonna like pop off and be on top. So
That's happened to Poirier in the Khabib fight. He held
yeah,
on to that guillotine for like a whole minute, and then it was like I don't know how long, like 30 seconds, and then Khabib got his back and finished him. Like,
yeah, and the exhaustion level that you're doing that,
yeah,
and I mean the difference between Dan and Ricky, Dan was shredded. Dan shredded,
yeah,
man, and he's
yeah,
got a lot of muscle, and you need a lot of oxygen to pump through
right.
those muscles. So that was my concern right there. First round, I give it to Dan. I felt like he again he was getting the better of the exchanges. I
Right.
think Ricky is being more effective in the second. And but I think that when Dan was trying, because he attempted the guillotine at least twice
Hmm.
in that fight. So again, it's one of those positions where it just really takes a lot out of you.
Yeah.
And I think Ricky was less tired
Hmm.
because of he wasn't the one extracting those things.
Yeah.
Because when you're in a choke like that and they're not choking you, I mean, in a sense,
You
Jonah, like
just
you done jiu-jitsu, right?
you're just sitting there. Yeah, a
Yeah,
little
you're
bit.
just
Yeah.
resting. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
you're
You're
resting
just
a little bit. You're just
right.
he's not hurting you.
Yeah.
It might feel
It's
uncomfortable on the
uncomfortable.
jaw,
Yeah. Yeah.
but you're still breathing and you're getting
Exactly.
your composure
He's
and
burning all of his back is bending. He's got
exactly,
his arms ripped. Like, yeah,
exactly.
it burns a lot, and you just get to sit there and kind of wait, and that's again the experience. I think like
Yeah, yeah,
he
he stayed
he's been
calm.
there before. He's like he knows that he's not in trouble there. Like he can just sit and wait, and then once Dan slows down or he feels like Dan is kind of letting up, that's when he can just step on it. And I think that's the experience. And I think Dan will get that. Like he's obviously has all the talent in the world. I mean, you don't get 4 first round finishes for nothing, like
Yeah,
in any pro scene. So I mean, yeah, obviously that dude's got all the talent in the world. It was just Ricky's time, this
yeah,
time. Like Dana said a few weeks ago, it was like it's Ricky's time. Like he was on Contender Series, I don't know, 3-4 years ago, something like that,
yeah,
and he was just too young, like he wasn't ready. But now the experience comes in, and maybe like now he's ready. He's got all those fights and all that fight time in the octagon, so ready to
yeah.
rock and
Well,
roll
see, there you
now.
go. So there he's got 2 losses. He lost to a guy that just got signed to the UFC, and he lost in the Contender Series.
Right?
So I
Yeah,
mean, those are talking about two very good learning experiences. And
absolutely.
so what I was impressed, and man, takedown defense was on point for Ricky, and
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize how big he was. Like, and by big, I mean like just tall and lanky,
Yeah.
man. And he was
Mm-hmm.
very good at utilizing the reach and utilizing his gifts, his talents.
Mm-hmm. He's
And
very, very, very scrappy and
yeah,
long. Yeah.
yeah, and the way he's able to avoid those takedowns by Dan was
Mhm.
great. Going into the third round, I had it after 2 rounds. I had to go into a third. Assuming you had to go into a third, I'm like, okay, they're probably going to a third here. Um, Dan just seemed tired, and that was my concern when he got up. I was like, man. And then
Yeah.
after I heard Brian tell him, hey, let's lower your heart rate down, focus on that right now. I could tell that he could tell that he was tired. So I was concerned. And then going into that third, I think just Dan shot and Ricky and they scrambled. And they didn't
Yeah.
really scramble, but Ricky was able to stuff it, get on top.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for Dan, Ricky was less tired. He still had some
Hung
more
out
juice in
there.
him
Yeah.
and just kept the top position. And,
Yeah.
at that point, Chael Sonnen is one of the best guys to ever coach that I've ever heard coach or corner. I could just hear Chael saying, he's the one that's got to move. You're on
Yeah.
top. The person on the bottom is the one that has to improve their position. And unfortunately, Dan couldn't, and,
Yeah.
and he was tired and cardio. And again, you said it best, man. Experience, man. I mean, do you want to add anything else on that one? I feel like I hit all the points in the third round.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, there's really not much else to say. I mean, 100% agree with you. Once there was one specific shoot, I forget which one it was. It was after Ricky hit him with I forget if it was like a straight or something like that, but he hit him with something clean, and then he shot immediately after that, and I was like, oof, like, because usually when guys get hit with some good stuff and then they shoot, it's like, uh-oh, like
Desperation.
was that a panic shoot?
Yeah.
Like was he just trying to get out of harm's way? And I don't know if it was or not. It could have just been he was trying to time it. But I mean, once he shot then and he sprawled, I was like, like I don't know. It's
Yeah.
gonna take a lot for Dan to get a finish.
Yeah. So I mean, again, that was overall, obviously, I had Ricky winning the fight. Obviously, I mean, I don't think anyone would disagree now. Obviously, there wasn't any controversy to that, and the better man won. I mean, that's a thing. Um, he fought hard. Dan fought hard, man, and he showed a lot of heart. I think, no doubt about it, he'll be back.
Absolutely.
He'll be back, and obviously, you don't necessarily have to win the show to do great things in the UFC. That's just me backing his stock, folks, before people want to let go and say that, he's got all the tools in the world, got to make a couple adjustments. Unfortunately, though, like I've told you, and I've said this on the show, don't matter if you can beat him 9 out of 10. What matters is on that one that mattered, you didn't win. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, Dan's eliminated. Ricky moves on. And you know what? Ricky's a good fighter. Ricky's a good fighter, earned that victory. He won clean, fair and square, no controversy. Couple cage holds there that I saw. Just a couple
Yeah.
that the
Yeah.
ref was warning him about that stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't even know what the warning is, man, or when they take a point because I think
Yeah,
Davison got a point deducted for
I don't
holding a
even.
cage, man. Or no, or groin kick. I'm wrong, but
Oh,
I know they call.
are you talking about Figueiredo?
Yeah,
When
yeah, against
yeah, yeah,
Moreno.
yeah. That was the groin kick.
It was a groin kick.
Yeah.
So I don't know. You know what? I'm lying to you. They can deduct a point for a cage grab because Tito Ortiz, back in the day when Tito
Mhm.
Ortiz fought Lyoto Machida, they fought to
Oh
the
yeah.
draw because Tito and the
Grab.
second round got a point deducted for grabbing the cage.
Oh,
It
okay.
wasn't too excessive though, man. Just a little
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
whatever. It happens. But
Yeah.
Ricky's a better man. He won that fight fair and square, and I mean,
Mhm.
moves on. Your
Yeah.
thoughts on this week's episode?
Yeah, just like I was thinking about like how like young a lot of these guys are in their careers. Like it's important to just like even on a loss, like okay, you're on like you're in the UFC's like I don't want to say like training grounds, but like this is your like um chance to like prove what you have. And sometimes it's just like you're not ready, or maybe you're not like maybe you're ready, but it's just like it wasn't your day. And it's like I think it's important to like especially for guys like Dan who are undefeated and they suffer their first defeat on here. It's like, dude, you're still fine. Like this is your first taste of defeat. He got a good 15 minutes of octagon time.
Yeah.
Like this will be invaluable for him moving forward. And I think he'll learn to see that. I know it was emotional and it was sad afterwards, but he'll 100% be back. He's got all the talent in the world, obviously. So
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, like we said on the show before, there's plenty of guys that come back
of
that
course, yeah.
that don't win the show that have great careers in the UFC. Believe he's one of them. But unfortunately, sometimes like losing sucks, right? Just in general.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think in the words of Dominic Cruz, who's one of the best to ever do it, man, he said it himself. Losing sometimes necessary to take you to a whole nother level. And I think
Yeah.
with him, it's the case because he's training, he's working hard. No doubt we'll see him back in the UFC again. Buy that stock still. Stock took a little bit of a hit, but you know what? Now's the time to buy it. It's one of those guys where you see it and you're like, probably not gonna be back for a finale, or probably not gonna be back in the UFC, or just it's a flash in the pan. Not with this guy, man.
Mhm.
There's still talent there. But Ricky, man, Ricky's gonna be a tough out, man.
Definitely.
He's very hyped, and we're getting the field. It's him, Vince Murdoch, and then it's who else?
The
Ludwig on in his
yeah,
division. And
right.
now next week's matchup, it's going to be the
It's
winner of Brady versus John, John or Josh,
Josh
Josh
Reddinghouse.
Reddinghouse.
Josh Reddinghouse.
Always
Yeah.
confuse the name.
Yeah.
But the winner of that match will join those three for the semifinal matchup for the semifinal round.
Shaping up, man.
Yep, the
Shaping
tournament's
up.
shaping up here. We're pretty much we're down. We have three of each in each weight class. We have three of
What's
them already set there.
what's
So,
the
so,
last
so we'll have
middleweight?
Miles Hunsinger after this next week's episode with Brady and Josh. It'll be Miles Hunsinger, who's undefeated, against Gilbert Urbina, who's actually from about 20 minutes from my hometown.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, where I
Nice.
grew up. Yeah, so
Yeah.
Gilbert's 6-1, only lost to Sean Brady.
Oh,
So he's
that's
he's a legit guy, man. He's
a
a
good guy to have a loss to.
Yeah, man. So both of those guys are legit next week. So it's going to be Brady versus Josh. Two guys that are trained together. They're from the same area. They know each other very well. So it's going to be a very interesting fight to watch, man. Prediction: I'm having Brady win that fight.
Yeah,
Having
I don't
Brady
even
win
know,
that fight.
man.
Younger, looser
Yeah,
versus the experience. I think, like you said, it's time to pass the torch, man. I think Volk's
yeah.
about to get his third win in a row.
You think so?
Yep.
So what? So if Volk wins next week, it'll be 4-3, right?
Yep. It'll be
Four
four
and
and
three.
three with a shot to even it up
Even it
in
up.
the eighth episode here.
How wild would that be if they
Uh,
both went 4-4? Like,
Great. I mean, that's the kind of narrative that we want here on the show to make it interesting, right? You don't
of
want,
course.
6 or 7 Ortega guys, be
Yeah.
there, and it's just boring, man. It creates for boring. It's gonna make the show drag more than what it is right now from
Right.
the outside perspective of the fights, you
Yeah.
know?
Dude, I just keep on thinking about we could have had Colby and George, man.
Dude, oh my god, man. I'm
Can you
telling you, brother.
imagine if we had that? Colby and George would be crazy, or honestly, any welterweight outside of like going from one to I don't know, I don't even know
To
who's
Wonder Boy or
to
even
Wonder Boy or whoever six
Chiesa.
is. I don't know. Chiesa, even Chiesa would be great, man. Because
Yeah.
Chiesa had a little beef with Colby. Like that'd be great, dude. Well, everyone's got beef with Colby, but
Yeah.
I'm just
I think
thinking,
the UFC really missed it. And
yeah,
again, it's about the matchups, right? And you're thinking
right.
about matchups and you want drama in a show.
Mm-hmm.
You can't control the fighters. I mean, you want these guys for fight. You rather have martial artists than drama kings or drama queens. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
But with the coaching, man, you gotta nail that right, brother. You're
Yeah,
not. You're not. I mean, their careers are made, man.
yeah.
Could have stuck Colby with anyone,
I know. With
and it would have
literally,
made amazing TV.
literally anyone. Oh,
Man, you could have stuck Colby and freaking Holloway, someone that's not even the weight class, man, and it would have been
yeah.
TV. And in that respect, I give Colby a lot of credit, man. That people, people hate the guy, but I give him a lot
He's
of
a
credit
draw.
because
He's a villain.
he can give you a product that's worth watching, man.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you cannot tell me that Colby Covington and anyone else wouldn't be better than Ortega and Volkanovski, even
Yeah,
though
for
those
real,
guys
dude.
are two of the best fighters in the world. That's fine, but I think the UFC missed that opportunity there.
Yeah,
And I think they have to understand that a lot of the drama and emotion and crazy crap that happens can stem off the coach, and that's something they control. So
absolutely.
that should be a learning experience for the UFC. Overall, though, a classic episode, great fight, probably the best fight of the season.
Good fight.
That's gonna be a very hard to really top that. Great build up, drama, and everything else. Kind of boring. Really, you didn't really see these guys in the house today, actually. So I mean,
Yeah, yeah. There
it's
wasn't
fitting
much.
that this episode went all through, like this fight went all 3 rounds, man, because they were able to fill it with that great fight.
Yeah, yeah.
Any last thoughts before we sign off?
Nah, man, I'm just pumped, dude. It's starting to heat up. Not heat up, but it's starting to build. To that. It feels more like like it's a tournament now. It feels like Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, man. Real quick. I mean, now that Dan's out, I mean, I think obviously anything can happen. Injuries can happen, right? We don't know that. But
Tercios look good, man. He looked
who?
good, dude. Tercios.
Oh, Tercios look good. I think Vince Murdoch ran. I
You think
think Vince
so?
Murdoch's
Okay.
gonna be the guy, man. I think Vince
Also,
Murdoch.
that's what now. Name it's fun, man, because now we got a lot of matchups to talk about.
So we'll see that, man. And obviously we'll be back next week with another review. We'll be reviewing episode 7 of that. Just to let everyone know, I don't know if you watched UFC in general, folks, but it looks like there's gonna be 12 episodes. So there's other episodes usually, Jonah, that are featured that have 2 fights in an episode. Probably not gonna get that either, folks. I mean, they've designed this to have the way they divided the divisions, the way the fights are gonna play out. 12 episodes, one fight per episode. It looks like it's gonna stay like that unless we see some crazy happen. But normally that's what the routine is. So if you're hoping to get 2 fights in an episode, probably not gonna happen, folks. Just giving you a warning on that. So Jonah Rawls, Jose Matos here, signing off here with another great review, folks. Let us know what you think in the comment section down below, and let us know if you enjoyed this week's episode. I'll catch you later, guys. Goodbye.